to the channel. In today's video, I just wanted to show y'all some of my family's favorite weeknight meals. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that I try really hard to be an ingredient-only household, meaning that we don't buy a lot of pre-processed foods or things like that for the most part. I make everything from scratch that I possibly can, and we grow our own vegetables when at all possible. And I like to keep our pantry and freezers as organic as I possibly can. It's not always cheap, it's not always feasible, but I do my best. I like to keep it pretty simple. We rotate a lot of the same meals every week with just a little bit of variation here and there so that things don't get boring, but we eat pasta and rice and bread and vegetables and meat. So while I don't make a habit of meal planning every week, I like to make sure that I have some sort of meat thawed out that I can put something together really quickly if I need to. This meal did not go quite as I planned it. I got a Walmart delivery for, I like to get a Walmart delivery on Mondays and just sort of go from there. I had gotten these pork chops and I had planned to fry them. And we don't eat a lot of fried food, but I fry in tallow. So every now and then we like to have a good fried pork chop. But when I got ready to start the process of frying these pork chops, not until I opened the pork chops did I realize how thick they were. And I really thought that they would be better in the air fryer. So I had already mixed up my egg and milk mixture, my dredge for the pork chops. And then when I got them open, I realized how thick they were, and I had to change my plan. I had already poured my oil in my pan. So I had seasoned this flour and everything. And right here, I'm like, oh my goodness. So I decide to season these pork chops with some mustard. I like to use mustard as a binder for my seasoning on pork chop and chicken. You do not taste the mustard, but so I coated them in some mustard and salt and pepper and paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, just normal stuff, and got those started in the air fryer. And I already had my vegetables roasting in the oven. I just had one zucchini, some onion, and some potatoes. They were already going. So I was just stirring those around so that they would cook evenly. And my air fryer is not very big, so I could only do 2 pork chops at a time. So while they were cooking, I decided to get started on my sourdough bread for the next night. And I'm not going to waste that flour that I had already mixed seasoning in, so I used that flour in my sourdough. There's really never a good reason to waste things like that. We try not to waste any food, and anything we do decide that we're going to throw out goes to the chickens. Because of that, nothing is ever really wasted. This was another Lawson approved meal. He loves pork chops. Most days he loves potatoes. He doesn't always love zucchini, so I don't think he ate but just a couple bites of zucchini. But anyway, what are you going to do? Toddlers. The next morning, I got started shaping my sourdough. I like to always have some sort of bread going, because if all else fails and I forget to thaw out some meat or whatever happens, if you've got some bread, you can make grilled cheeses. You can do something like that. So you always have an element of a meal ready to go, even if nothing else goes right. And like I said, I am not wasting the eggs that I mixed up for my pork chop dredge that I wound up not using. I just added some more eggs to it, and that's our scrambled egg breakfast. On top of cooking from scratch, the last couple of years I've really leaned into making a lot of the convenience things that I maybe would be tempted to buy from scratch also, like dry pancake mix. I mix that up and put it in a container so that I have that on hand. And I do make biscuits and things that I put in the freezer. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you've seen me make sourdough waffles and sourdough bagels and put in the freezer. Those kind of things have saved me so much time and kept me from being tempted to buy things like that from the grocery store when I can just make it at home.
Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know.
Another thing that we do is pretty obvious, and I know a lot of you probably do the same thing, but we try to buy as much meat in bulk as we possibly can, and I separate it into smaller portions that I put in the freezer. It's a very simple thing that you can do that saves you money over time. My husband and I would really like to be raising our own beef and pork, but for right now that's not really feasible. We have harvested our own chickens in the past several times, but that's not something that we do regularly. So for now, the main thing that we grow and harvest on our own land is just vegetables, and that'll have to do for right now. Normally on the days that I'm separating a large amount of beef, I make sure that we are having beef that night for supper too, so that last little section of the beef is what I dump into the pan to cook for that night. And on this night we had tacos. That's one of our favorite meals, and a lot of times I have homemade tortillas in the freezer. This day I did not. My next video may have to be a freezer restock video. I'll probably be making biscuits, waffles, tortillas, maybe even some bagels, and some sourdough cinnamon rolls. Those are my favorite things to keep in the freezer. I have plenty of videos of me making those, but I may do another one for my next video. I also never buy shredded cheese anymore. I don't even know how many years we've been buying whole blocks of cheese and shredding our own cheese. That started years ago. There's just so much junk in pre-shredded cheese that you just really don't need to be consuming. I'm not sure that one saves much money, but I also never buy shredded lettuce either. It just turns brown way faster and just doesn't seem like a good idea to me. And when possible, we grow our own lettuce anyway. However, I have not been very successful at growing head lettuce or head cabbage here in central Mississippi. The bugs, oh my gosh, all the bugs that we fight are just terrible. So if you have any tips and tricks for making that more successful, please let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear any of your money saving hacks for stay-at-home moms, people on one income. I'd love to hear any of your ideas. What do you do at your house that helps you stay home with your kids and make it in this expensive economy that we're living in right now? Every little thing matters. Any little thing that you're doing to better feed your family matters. It's a good thing, and you're doing a good job. Those are all my tips and tricks for today. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. If you haven't already, I wish you'd subscribe and follow along with my little family. I hope that you are blessed. Till next time. Bye, y'all.